Bachelor in Paradise, Jonathon Johnson blames poor mental health for his behavior. August 5, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News fans. Jonathon Johnson has been one of the least problematic men on Season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise. While he was a viewer fan favorite, he didn't win Gen Tran's love on The Bachelorette. He accepted the invitation to join Season 10 of BIP during the Men Tell All special last summer. However, his behavior in this week's episode turned off a lot of fans. The reality star took to social media to defend himself amid the unexpected backlash. Bachelor in Paradise star caught in lies. Bachelor in Paradise viewers are at the end of their ropes with contestants Dale Moss and Jeremy Simon. Both men are lying to their respective partners, Kat Izzo and Bailey Brown. Viewers didn't expect to add Jonathon Johnson to the list of problematic men on Season 10. But the tide has turned against Jonathon in the last few episodes. He previously shut down any romance with contestant Jill Chen. She ultimately quit the show after failing to find a connection with any of the other contestants. Before he friend-zoned Jill, Jonathon had a brief flirtation with Golden contestant April Kirkwood, 67. She gave Jonathon her rose instead of any of the 3 remaining senior contestants. It was a gesture of friendship, not romance, but it still didn't sit right with some viewers. Since most of the other couples are already established, Jonathon Johnson didn't have much of a choice when it came to pairing up with Bachelor alum Leah Kyan. However, she didn't realize that it was a partnership of convenience. Jonathon Johnson confessed to Kat Izzo that he didn't have any romantic interest in Leah. Of course, Kat immediately told Leah what Jonathon said. Leah was hurt but gave Jonathon her rose anyway. When Jonathon posted photos from the recent episode on social media, Bachelor in Paradise fans pounced. Check out some of the comments. "You gotta get some game, Jonathon." "Could have played it better, but it is what it is." "Wondering why you're friend-zoning all the women in Paradise. Go for it." "Buddy, what are you doing?" Jonathon is acting awkward like he really does not want to be there at all. Jonathon Johnson defends his behavior. As a fan favorite in Jen's season, Jonathon didn't seem to expect backlash from viewers. He took to Instagram story to share insight on why he friend-zoned Leah, April, and Jill. Jonathon revealed that he wasn't in the best mental state going into Season 10, especially after waiting 10 months to start filming the show. Bachelor in Paradise was on pause from November 2023 until the new season started in July 2025. The former Bachelorette star recently revealed that he needed a mental reset after filming BIP, which seems to hint that he's still single. In follow-up Instagram story slides, he said that he friend-zoned because he knows what he's looking for but hasn't found it yet. What did you think of Jonathon's
Paradise's
behavior?
Jonathon Johnson breaks his silence. "My behavior wasn't me. It was my mental health spiraling." Paradise lost. When Jonathon Johnson arrived on Bachelor in Paradise, he was the picture of charm. Fresh off his stint as a fan favorite on The Bachelorette, viewers were excited to see him walk down the sandy steps with that signature smile and salt and pepper style. Social media exploded with GIFs and predictions. Jonathon was going to be the one to watch. And he was, but not for the reasons fans expected. Instead of being the romantic heartthrob Paradise hoped for, Jonathon quickly became the season's most controversial figure. He jumped from connection to connection. He ghosted one woman mid-conversation. He picked a rose only to take it back. His confrontations with castmates grew heated, his moods unpredictable. At one point, he even walked off set and disappeared for hours. "What is Jonathon doing?" fans tweeted in disbelief. Producers leaned into the chaos, editing him as a loose cannon, erratic, volatile, confusing. In confessionals, castmates whispered about his mood swings. A few used the word unstable. The final straw came during a tense rose ceremony when Jonathon verbally snapped at a producer, his mic still hot, and the footage aired in full. The backlash was immediate and brutal. The online trial. Reddit threads dissected every move. TikTok influencers made expose videos. Twitter renamed him Gaslight John. The hate became unrelenting. But no one really knew what was going on behind Jonathon's sunglasses. Until now. 3 months after the Bachelor in Paradise finale aired, after the press tours ended, after the tropical dust had settled, Jonathon reappeared on social media with a simple post. "I owe everyone an explanation. I wasn't okay. I'm finally ready to talk." Fans didn't expect what came next, a full sit-down interview with Bachelor Nation's resident tell-all queen, Becca Kufrin, on her podcast Heart to Heart. The teaser alone broke the internet. "I don't even recognize the man I was in Paradise," Jonathon admitted, voice cracking. He wasn't defending his behavior. He wasn't blaming others. He was finally being honest, for the first time, with himself most of all. The man behind the meltdown. What viewers never saw was the mental state Jonathon entered Paradise with. Just weeks before filming, Jonathon's father had suffered a stroke. He had almost backed out of the show entirely. "But I thought maybe this would distract me. Maybe Paradise could be my escape," he explained to Becca. Instead, it became a pressure cooker. "I tried to pretend I was fine," Jonathon said, "but inside I was unraveling." He shared that he'd struggled with anxiety and depression since college. As a public school teacher turned reality TV star, the sudden fame only magnified his existing struggles. "It was like I had to play a character. I was Jonathon from The Bachelorette, not Jonathon the guy who couldn't sleep at night, who was having panic attacks behind closed doors." He hadn't been on his medication. He hadn't been in therapy for months. He went to Paradise with a smile and a suitcase full of trauma. The breaking point. What finally pushed Jonathon over the edge? "It was the day I sent Marissa home," he recalled. "She was crying. I just froze. I felt nothing. That scared me." Marissa had been his strongest connection. Fans were rooting for them. But something in Jonathon detached. He walked away from her and straight into a spiral. "I started isolating. I wouldn't eat with the group. I barely spoke unless the cameras were on. I'd lie in the shower just to feel something." His castmates tried to check in. Some gave him space. Others grew frustrated. "They didn't sign up to babysit someone going through a mental breakdown," Jonathon admitted. The producer's dilemma. One of the most controversial moments of Jonathon's arc was the rose ceremony outburst, when he screamed at a producer off camera, accusing them of manipulating emotions for a storyline. Now, in his podcast interview, Jonathon addressed it. "That moment was real. I lost it. I was tired of being poked, tired of being told, this will make great TV. I felt like a zoo animal." He said that while producers didn't force his actions, they did encourage the chaos. "They knew I wasn't well. They saw it. But they didn't step in, because me unraveling made good content." That accusation sent shockwaves through Bachelor Nation. Former contestants reached out privately to express support. Others spoke out publicly. "There's a duty of care," said one ex-contestant in a follow-up interview. "We need to talk about mental health in reality TV more seriously." Redemption Road. Jonathon's concession sparked a broader conversation. Mental health experts praised his vulnerability. Fans who once dragged him online began sharing their own stories of depression and breakdowns. Jonathon leaned into the advocacy, partnering with a nonprofit focused on mental health for young men of color. He started attending therapy weekly. He posted candid updates on his progress, the good and the bad. One particularly viral post read, "I'm not cured, but I'm not hiding anymore. If you're struggling, talk to someone. It's not weakness, it's survival." Messages from the beach. Several of Jonathon's former castmates reacted to his interview. Marissa posted an Instagram story saying, "I wish I knew what he was going through. I might have shown more compassion. Proud of him for speaking up." Others echoed similar sentiments. But not everyone was ready to forgive. Sierra, one of the women Jonathon left mid-date, shared a TikTok saying, "Mental health is real, but accountability is too. You can explain behavior without excusing it." Jonathon addressed that head-on in a follow-up statement. "She's right," he said. "Just because I was struggling doesn't mean I didn't hurt people. I own that. I reached out to everyone privately. Not everyone accepted the apology, and that's okay. I still needed to make it." Life after reality TV.
Jonathon has stepped back from the Bachelor world. He's not pursuing another spinoff, not right now at least. I need to focus on myself, he told fans during the Q&A live stream. Paradise was the mirror I needed, but now I'm working on who's on the other side of that mirror. He's gone back to teaching part-time while also pursuing certification as a licensed mental health advocate. He's writing a book. It's called When Paradise Isn't Enough. And yes, he's dating, but this time away from the cameras. It's private, it's slow, and it's healthy, he said with a smile. What Bachelor Nation needs to learn. Jonathon's story has sparked an important reckoning for the franchise. Producers are reportedly reviewing mental health protocols. A few Bachelor alums have begun pushing for an on-set therapist to be available at all times, not just on call. Becca Cuffrin, who hosted Jonathon's Tell-All, said it best. We love drama, we love love, but we can't love these contestants only when they're perfect. They're human, and humans break sometimes. The final rose for himself. As Jonathon closed his emotional interview, Becca asked him one final question. If you could go back to Paradise, knowing everything you know now, would you still do it? He paused, thought carefully, then said, yes, but only because hitting rock bottom made me finally climb. He looked directly into the camera and added, and if you're watching this, feeling like you're spiraling, I promise, there's help, there's hope, and there's still a version of you worth fighting for.